Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. As recalled in my last Star Wars video, I briefly explained how Solo: A Star Wars Story was a complete dog's dinner of a non-canon mess, and rightly so bombed at the box office. And I found out it didn't have to be that way. Looking around for information, I found this article. As you can see, it was written on 22nd of February 2017, or about a year and 3 months before the movie was released, and it shows that at least they were thinking of the Paradise Snare, and they did know of the Han Solo story trilogy from that, and they were going to adopt some elements of that story into the movie, though I would have liked them to have been faithful to the novel and followed it as closely as possible. This is, as you can see, the original Han Solo design by Ralph McQuarrie. He was going to be a more mature role, but that really wouldn't have worked. They dropped the beard and the busy outfit, and they adopted a more simpler outfit, but they dropped that as well and adopted simply the outfit that we remember Han was wearing from The Empire Strikes Back. Now this is more interesting. As you can see, it's a young lad. The prequels also include a young Han Solo. As I explained in the previous video, Gareth Strike adopted young Han Solo and various other orphans above his ship, the Trader's Luck, to teach them in elements of petty crime. And I explained that Han Solo in the novel was 7 to 9 years old, so that's about the same age as these three. It could have been him, or him. As you can see, the concept. But George Lucas ultimately exercised some restraint and didn't include him. So George himself probably had some say in Solo: A Star Wars Story, but per usual, Lucasfilm and Disney decided to just ignore him. But it just goes to show that even though he hasn't said anything, Lucas had a little bit of a say. Like in the prequels, this could have been how Anakin originally looked, and this is a bit of footage from an older Anakin that ended up on the editor's floor and wasn't included. Deleted Return of the Jedi shot from the right. That's if they planned showing a young orphan Han in the new film, of course, which they didn't. They did show Billy Dee Williams, but they sort of slotted Billy Dee Williams' character Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover, into the movie where it really shouldn't have been, it to just tie a few key elements together. Now this is an interesting bit. Woody Harrelson was essentially confirmed that his character would be Solo's mentor, which he was, sort of, which would mean he's playing the legendary EU's Gareth Strike. But they changed his name to Bennett, and he toned Gareth Strike's nasty personality right down, probably to get the lower film rating that it did have. If so, then Lucasfilm might cherry-pick character and story beats from the existing novels, so at least they knew of the novels from A.C. Crispin and repurpose them for the movie. It wouldn't be terribly shocking to see Gareth's look take direct clues from the original Mentor version of Han Solo. Well, he looks a bit different, for a start. This art eventually inspired the design of Kane's Sky Killer and General Luke Skywalker, seen on the right, so that's how Luke Skywalker would have done if he hadn't been screwed over by Ruin Johnson. Incidentally, Dark Horse Comics, if you're going to get the Star Wars version of comics, Dark Horse is the original comics which put the Star Wars Expanded Universe into a comic format. DC has done a good job, but Dark Horse was the original ones, and there'd be more more not economical, more valuable to get. And incidentally, George Lucas was originally going to have Solo as a green-skinned Uralian reptile, but he changed that into a human, i.e. Harrison Ford's character. These two ladies, Emilia Clarke on the left and Trudy Newton on the right, as I said in the previous video, have got no place in the expanded universe and were more or less shoo-ins. I don't know why. But some potential characters taken from the EU and elsewhere include Briar Theron. Remember what I said in the last video? She was Han Solo's first love, the woman he fell in love with on that planet. A former would-be archaeology student, yes, in the novel she was, who joined the rebellion. Yes, she did, after Han rescued her from that cult/colony planet on a jungle world, and both escaped to Coruscant. Two other characters, Sana Starros claimed to be Han's wife. I don't know about that. Those of you with more intel about the expanded universe will probably know, but I don't. And Shelley Lona Alpha, former backstabbing partner of her, who was recruited by Darth Vader. Again, I don't know that much about the expanded universe, so you probably know if you did. This bit is interesting. The Daisy Ridley, and this is how Luke was originally going to be. A girl, that's where Kathleen Kennedy got the idea to feminize Star Wars from. This was how Leia was originally going to look like instead of Carrie, how we got to see was Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul. But this is originally probably the seed of the idea to feminize and gender politics bullshit that we've had to put up with since The Force Awakens. Now these characters, there are female characters from the Han Solo novels. None of these are relevant, but it just goes to show they were thinking of some other female leads, i.e. not just have white males, just having female leads with a real story behind them. But as you know, it didn't happen. Now this character here I've seen from the expanded universe with this headset. She's an alien, a Sith Jedi. She has bleach white skin and I think that's red hair. She is a villain and an assassin. But again, it wasn't used at all. This is Sophia Waller-Bridge. She's the voice actress that was with Lando Calrissian's female feminist robot co-partner, co-pilot droid companion, instead of his real one, which was in his trilogy, which is Vuffy-Ra, as I showed in the last video, a 4 foot 5 tentacled, 4 foot high 5 tentacled alien droid. This is a concept art. As you can see, they weren't going to include Vuffy-Ra at all. They were always going to include a bipedal feminist robot / droid. This is interesting. This is the concept of Julana from the Trader's Luck, Garrus Strike's ship, even though him, they said a female, they'll all look male. So that shows, again, they knew about the Paradise Snare, and they were thinking along those lines to include it before all the drama happened behind the stage and the movie was turned into a mess. Again, this is another concept. A female Hutt originally owned Luke's young Anakin Skywalker and his mother. Well, they changed that to Giotto, that Jewish-looking alien, and this Jabba Hutt creature was just totally dropped. That looks a bit like Jabba, the only that we didn't have the arms like that. Now this is interesting. Han Solo in the novels, in the Paradise Snare, was a speedbike racer, i.e. a high-powered superbike of the Star Wars galaxy. As I said in an old video, to me, our Milky Way galaxy, and it's all based in the future. But anyway, the novels show that about Han Solo, that Boba Fett did know him. There's some expectation that Fett could return in the Han Solo film. Well, it didn't, because it was a mess, but they could have had it differently. Now this is interesting. This is just concept art, but this is The Mandalorian-ish. It just shows that they've taken a little bit of this concept from the expanded universe and they've put it into the TV show, but that's more or less how The Mandalorian looks. A bit different, but essentially it's the same. Now in the second of the Star Wars Han Solo movies, there's a place called Smuggler's Moon, which a lot of the part of the story is based on. So every rogue needs a marauder or pirate clan to hang with. Well, this could have been adopted as Smuggler's Moon for the second movie of Han Solo's life, but it wasn't. Criminal faction of aliens. That's just a repeat. And this is the last one. There, of course, is the ultimate fanboy wish, but wouldn't it be cool if Harrison Ford returned for this movie to bookend the tale as a flashback story? Well, Harrison Ford thinks he's far too grand to be in a Star Wars movie, even though if it wasn't for his character Harrison Ford, he'd still be a jobbing actor, because it was Star Wars that put him on the map. But like most thespians, he gets ideas above his station and he thinks he's too big for a movie that actually made him. But anyway, this was going to be in The Force Awakens, but not used, but it still looks good. And that is more or less it. So that's the concept, what could have been, but instead we got this. A mess of a movie. He didn't look like Harrison Ford. She's no place in it. Neither of them two. He was the wrong character. He looked different from the Chewie we looked. The Falcon looked totally different from what we looked. There was only Donald Glover who really held it together, because he got Lando down to a T. And I'll leave it at that. Next one I do, I'll try and explain the trilogy novel, A.C. Crispin, and how the story develops. But it won't be for a while yet, because we're on peak now at Amazon. That's it, people. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until the next one, it could be in the new year. That's it. Bye-bye.